Hey, what's up, you sexy bitches, and welcome back to this week's Weekly D. Today I have Iztok from Lupit Pole on the show with me, and I'm super excited for this episode because Lupit Pole is a brand that I've seen grow and grow and grow over the last however many years now. I remember years ago first hearing of them and wondering, who is this brand? And now they're a super well-known brand creating very good quality poles. So I wanted to know who the face was behind the brand, and it's Iztok, and he's the nicest guy. So I'm super excited for you to listen to this episode. So without further ado, this is the Weekly D. Because honey, if you ain't getting your D on the daily, you better at least be getting it once on the weekly.
Weekly D. If you're not getting any and you want some tea, then come and join Dan up on the Weekly D. It's the Weekly D.
Hello, welcome Iztok. Thank you for joining my podcast. This podcast is basically a podcast for pole dancers, but for everyone really. I love talking about business, so I'm super excited to talk to you about business because you've got an extremely successful business behind you. So you are the owner of Lupit Pole. So are you the sole owner of Lupit Pole, or is there two of you?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Dan. Thank you for inviting me. Just to answer your question, well, we are two owners. We're equally owning the company, and this is how is the structure of the company. So I do more the technology and production, and the innovations, design, and Yanni, my partner, he's doing the rest, like marketing and sales, and taking care of everything in the company. Everything
nice. So I want to, before we go into talking about how you started Lupit and stuff like this, for you, Iztok, I just want to know, what is your background? I assume, I'm going to make a wild guess here, but I assume you're not a pole dancer, right?
No, I'm not pole dancing, but yeah, my background is from aeronautical engineering. It's a part of mechanical engineering. So yeah, I'm a aeronautical engineer, aviation.
You're the engineer guy. So do you did you leave that industry to start with pole, or do you still work in that industry at the same time?
It's the industry basically. Because we have the machines and everything for metalworking, so that's a really you need to be a really good engineer to handle all this stuff, because the poles, as you all know, I mean, the poles are not simple to produce, to meet safety regulations, to meet everything that the polers need to be safe on the pole, and at the same time it has to be convenient and look good. So it's quite a lot to do. Still, we have a lot of room for improvements.
And whereabouts are you from, Iztok? Like, what country are you located in?
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia. It's a Slovenian company. We are part of the European Union, as you know.
Nice.
That's where we are. So.
And before you got into pole, what was like your sort of like full-time thing? So you were working with airplanes, were you?
Well, I'm a helicopter pilot.
Wow. So you were a helicopter pilot, and when was the last time you got to fly a helicopter?
Like 2 days ago.
Oh, so you still do it a lot?
Oh, yeah. This is like, I have two jobs. One is main job is still Lupit Pole, of course. But I do some flying. It's professional flying also in Ljubljana. There is I have my really small, my own small operations for that, like heli tours. So this is my love. This is my from childhood. I always wanted to be a pilot. I did it. So, but I was always interested in other things as well. So I wanted to design things. I wanted to do, other stuff. And before, with my partner Yanni, we had also one company that we were producing vending machines.
Oh, okay.
And through the customers of vending machines, which were in UK, we saw this, dancing pole for home. And we started to think about it. And then I designed the first one. And since then, we became,
Right. So hold on. So take me back a second. So yourself, was it Yanni, your partner's name?
Yeah.
So your partner Yanni, and you were making vending machines. Tell me the story behind how you got into the pole. So you were saying someone that you knew asked you to make a pole for them?
Not really. It was that someone who was buying from us vending machines. They had this internet page that was selling different stuff, and one of the things was also a cheap Chinese pole, something.
Right.
And we saw that, and then we talked about it with Yanni, and we said, look, this might be a good business opportunity because vending machines at 2008, there was like a crisis, and they didn't sell well. So we said, okay, let's see what we can offer, what we can do for like more, not B2B, but more like B2C business. So I said, okay, this could be a good opportunity because it's becoming a sport. It's becoming, a thing that people would buy for home and also for studios. So that I designed the first pole and we sold it through a local internet store in 2 days. So then we made another two, and then we made in a garage, basically, and in my mom's garage, basically.
Wow.
So then 20 and 40, you know how it goes.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
in a couple of years, we met Marion Cramp.
Mm-hmm.
She's still our main ambassador, and I hope she will stay, forever. So and then she proposed to us that because she had the opportunity to dance on our poles in one competition. So she said, okay, look, let's do something with this, with your brand and with everything. So do you think that I could be your ambassador? And I say, okay, perfect, why not? And we start working from there. It was everything was so organic.
Yeah. What an amazing first ambassador to have. Like Marion Cramp, obviously, well, as you know now, is like a very, very big name within our industry. So what a great person to have behind you from the beginning. So how was your, like, I guess what I'm trying to get to is trying to understand, like, because you've made poles now specifically from what pole dancers have told you they want. Did you have any other pole dance friends or anyone you knew that was pole dancing before you met Marion?
Before Marion, we already started. We equipped a couple of fitness centers and studios. There was after we sold just like a basic static only pole on this internet shop. There was one girl who came, contacted us and said, look, I saw this studio in LA, and because I'm a ballerina, I would like to do a pole dancing. And she attended, by the way, in LA, in this studio, she attended the course. So she was like, can you do 15 poles for my studio? But they have to be, the spin ones. So the spinning pole. So I said, well, yeah, we can do it. So I put together the drawings and everything and some engineering to do that. And those poles, some of them are still working. That was
Wow.
that's about 2010, I think.
Oh my God.
And and then we were always doing everything organic, like and we still do most of our marketing is organic, so we really spend very little money on advertising.
That's good. I mean, I've been in the industry a long time, and I found out about Lupit sort of probably when maybe when you were starting to work with Marion. That's probably how I found out about it. How did you get on with? I'm gonna be really honest. So I didn't really think much of Lupit at first because I didn't know any of the products, because I'd not seen any of them. We didn't actually have any in the UK at the time. That it was very much like, oh, this is a European brand, it's a small company in Europe. And I'd seen lots of people trying to make poles before. I don't know if you've heard of our pole. There was our poles as well. They weren't amazing. So I'd seen a lot of people come and go. And I just thought, oh, I'd seen a little bit about it because I'd seen the ambassadors post about it, but I'd never tried any. In fact, funny enough, I'd not actually properly tried a Lupit pole until just recently at a pole camp, the summer pole camp in Croatia, run by Dance Moves. And yeah, I love them. Like I really like the way they look, and I like that obviously you do the different finishes. I know that obviously other companies do offer that as well, but I like the minimalist look that you offer on Lupit poles with the top and the bottom. You know how the bases, they're like quite thin. I quite like that because I hate those like big chunky like lids and stuff that you can get on the top of poles sometimes. So I very much like the fact that you've gone for the aesthetics and stuff. But what was it like sort of coming in as a new company? Like, was it really hard to sort of push into the industry, or did you find it fairly easy?
I didn't find it very easy, of course, but what I knew was that if you want to, get into the market, which is basically like very niche market, okay, you need to come out, and if there is one player, basically only one player on the market, so you need to come out with a very good product, like quality, and we still are improving every day our products. So this was only one key, and and we set up our values at the beginning. It's I have to admit that here Marion, with her values in her life, he opened our minds. She was like talking to us a lot, and we saw that we need to go for these values, and basically that's why she came to us in the first place, because he found me and Diani quite nice guys, let's say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, I know what you
So
mean.
she was like, you're the guys I want to work with. You have these values, and inclusion, diversity, innovations. We want to go for safety. Of course, the safety is our first, top of the goals that we do with every product. And also, other stuff that we want to go for. And this is then it become, if you live your values as a company and also as an owner, that everything else follows. Like people can recognize that, and you don't need much for marketing. Like classic marketing. It's just like, that's how we see it, and that's how we do. We stay humble. We would like to go for better products. We listen to people. A lot of pole dancers, they come to us with different suggestions. We always listen, and many of them we implement. As like many suggestions, right? Just a couple of days ago, I was contacted by one of the customers. She was not happy with the product. And we said, okay, what can we do? And her things were, her suggestions were good, and we are going to try to implement them as fast as we can. And this is, something that I never said that our products are perfect, but what I can say that we are trying to improve every day.
Yeah. And do you did you ever imagine that you would be working in the pole dancing industry as heavily as you are now? Like, if you could like look back, would you would you have ever imagined that engineering would have led you to this place? Are you married, if you don't mind me asking? Do you have a partner?
Yeah, yeah.
You're
I'm
married.
married. I'm married. I have two kids.
And
I have,
what does your wife think? When you told her, oh, by the way, I'm making a pole, Marion Cramp is now my best friend, and we're gonna make these pole dancing poles. I'm really intrigued to know, what was the conversation like? What did she say? Because I have to say, like, if my husband was like, oh, by the way, you know, I'm dealing with this industry and I knew nothing about it, I assume the first thing anyone would think is that you've been to a strip club, you've made friends with all these strippers, and now they want you to make poles for them. You know what I mean? Like, you think she'd probably think the worst. What was her reaction?
well, when I brought first Paul at home, my son was only 3 years old. And then, I installed it, and it was really fun because, because he was, just jumping on the pole and trying to do, spins and so, because, the kids, it's a playground for them.
Of course.
But my wife came from her job, and she was like, "What is this?" Like as I explained, that this is something that we designed, and it's really could be a really business opportunity, and she was really quite happy with this idea. And then when we had this competition, my wife was also there with me. I mean, on this event, and we met Marion together. So
I see.
Because she was, we sponsored this event. It was like a competition stuff, and Marion was judging, but before the competition, she had her performance, and right after the performance, she was like, "What are these poles? I like the spin so much." So, and then I want to meet these guys who are doing those poles, and that's how we met.
I have to say, actually, even before you said it, I was like, I bet it's because she loves the spin. Because there's one thing I have noticed about spin pole on a Lupit pole is that the spin is very, very good, and she loves spin pole. So there's nothing worse than a pole that stops obviously halfway when you're through a combo, and then the pole stops. And actually, yeah, almost to the point. I remember at the camp, I remember thinking, oh my God, it's like so fast, I can't even get it to stop. It was so fast. I just wasn't used to it. But yeah, it's just, I only asked that because I just found it so funny, because I was just like, what a random industry for someone who had no connection with pole. So has your wife ever tried pole?
Yeah, she did.
She's not keen?
Yeah, no, she's still doing it.
Yeah. She's still doing it. Okay, so that's cool. So does she ever give you feedback on your products and what you can do to, does she help with the business at all?
No, she's just happy with the product, and we have a little room in our house which has all the fitness equipment inside, the poles, the hoops, and the silk and everything. It's for my daughter mainly, and I have punching bag, for example, and some weights. And
nice. So you've got like a proper gym at your home.
Yeah, it's a small place, but everything inside, it's really nice to have.
Nice.
And I wanted to see, how it works at home. I mean, the pole, because I installed to my home the Pro Pole with, with the removing with the cart and everything. So it can be converted from, a little studio into a gym, or Lira, and we have fun.
Nice. So the name Lupit Pole, where does the name come from?
Oh, that's a funny story. When we were looking for a brand name at the early beginning, when we had to send this pole to this local internet store. So I said, okay, what's this gonna be? And we were thinking, and it's, I don't like generic names. It's like, it's too obvious. They say, I don't know, beautiful pole or something. They normally they make from two words, and our brand has two words as well. But Lupit itself was the first word that my son actually said. It was not dad or mom or something like that, but it was Lupit. And he didn't know what that means, but he was pointing on some stuff, different in at homes or in shopping centers, and he was always like, Lupit, Lupit, Lupit. And it was so much fun. And when we were, of course, you want to know what Lupit means. So we went to Wikipedia and see what is the meaning of this word. It's only in meteorology. It's a Lupit is one big movement of air masses it's a big vortex. Okay?
Ah, so it's not like a Slovenian word or something like an easy word. It's like a very complicated word. So he just made this word up in his head, and it ended up meaning something.
It's something that my son said.
It's so cool. And you literally and then when you were setting up the business, you just thought, well, let's just call it that, and then it stuck.
Yeah, it's called something that nobody knows what it means, because then you remember. If if you have something that is too well known, then it becomes a generic something. It's not.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I want to ask so more on the business side of things now. How did Lupit get on during the pandemic? How did the pandemic affect you, or did it help you? I know, and the reason I ask this is because I know X-Pole sold out of all of their poles. I think you guys are sold out of a lot of your poles as well, right? Because everyone wanted to buy poles so they could pole at home. How did you guys keep up with the demand, and or did you have much demand, or what was the experience like for you as a company?
All right, it became the pandemic. I would say helped us in a way that it was a lot of demand, but if we wouldn't be prepared, because all the production we have is in-house, so everything we have we do by ourselves. We don't,
they're not made in China.
No. They're made in Slovenia. We have our own factory. Has all the machinery and polishing machines and cutting machines and the turning machines, and all the metalworking machines are our ownership, and we have it in the factory, and we do it every day. And it could be really nice if you could visit us someday.
I'd love to. So hold on. So I want to go back then. So these are all your own machines. Was this from back when you used to make the vending machines?
No. We were, at first we had very little machines, more like home, small, machines. Yeah, like
you just slowly built it up.
Yeah. So and now we're going to move by the end of the year. We're going to move to new premises that we'll have more machines and more automation. But we only leave this automation that can help us with the quality, but still we would want to have the quality control, and the people that are behind touching every pole before it goes and testing. It's something that we will always have, doing with human beings. But
I love that.
Some operations, they need to be automated, so you have every time the same product out.
I didn't actually realize that you made them in your own factory. That's amazing. So I guess so when the pandemic happened, did that mean that you could make more products because okay, so you had a great advantage.
We were struggling with some suppliers of the basic materials.
Right.
And we were working, days and nights, and all the way, 24/7. And making all those poles. But we gained about 30 days or 35 days of delay in that. Was a big stress for us, but still it helped us in how to say in sales. But we knew that we have to invest back to the business, and what we did, we helped our ambassadors in that time, because they were, all of a sudden, because they were traveling, and they, so we gave them opportunity, to sell our products, and to give them those vouchers, coupons,
some money,
to make some money, and they were really grateful for that. And of course,
that's
in a couple
idea.
of months, they set up their own video lessons, and
I think all of us did. I mean, it was just it's so funny, like how actually the pole industry, apart from the studios, obviously, lots of people thrived. Actually, the pole manufacturers thrived. The instructors like myself, Marion, Phoenix, Natasha Wang, we all kind of did quite well, actually. I feel, I know it sounds really weird, but I feel kind of bad talking about it, because I know lots of people did struggle, but it opened up a massive door for me in terms of a different income for me. So it was something that I'm kind of super grateful for. But what about you personally? What sort of toll did the pandemic take on you personally? Like, how was it? Like, how did you deal with it? Were you okay with it? Did you manage, or did you suffer at all with dealing with such a different situation in your life?
Yeah, it was. It became a little bit weird at the beginning, because we were all at home, and obviously I was going to work every day.
And you had a 3-year-old at home.
All these masks and everything. But we were really careful to not to catch, anybody. So from, but then I didn't feel it really bad. Besides, you couldn't go out and, do stuff like you do normally. But then it was time for, family gathering. It was time for, discussions, for big walks, like long walks in the woods and stuff like that, that you didn't have time before, or you didn't, or it was just, the routine was different. So the routine was different.
Right.
And this time I think that it helped me to grow as a person, because you are always, when you have extreme situations, then people that are covering in normal situations, that they can cover their real face, they uncover it in this kind of situation, because they cannot stand it anymore. So they show it, and sometimes you get disappointed, and sometimes you are you really surprised that some can get better.
Yeah, of course. It's just weird how something so good can sometimes come out of something that's bad. Does your wife work, or does she stay at home?
Oh, she does work. She's also a manager.
Oh, okay. So it was weird for her probably as well to have to be everyone at home. So it was the two of you, and then a young child as well. He was 3.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No. At the pandemic.
During the pandemic.
Yeah. During the pandemic, no, they're already grown up. So my son is now 17, and my daughter is 13.
Oh, you were talking about when. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, so you were dealing with like teenagers, living at home with teenagers. That's not so bad, I guess. I can't imagine how hard it must have been for people during the pandemic to be living at home with like 2-year-olds or 3-year-olds running around the house. They must have been so hard to entertain. You mentioned earlier on at the beginning about inclusivity. What were you talking about when you mentioned inclusivity as a brand? Like, do you think, is that a consideration that you guys have, inclusivity?
Yeah, as a brand, and we also live that. I personally, I have many friends. They're like from different races. They have different, sexual orientations. They're different, and if you are that kind of person, that you just how to say, you just don't have any barriers in this field. So it's amazing, because it's the world is full of different people, and
Yeah.
if you have all these perspectives, and if you cooperate with all of them as a company, it's a big privilege to me, because I can meet and learn from them, and every day you're surprised how people are, and this is something that I really look forward.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's really good that you do that. And because obviously, like you said, the world is changing. And I think it was good as well that from a very early point, I noticed that you had, people of different ethnic origins, like promoting your poles. I'm using Phoenix as an example purely because you've got a picture of her behind you right now. But,
Yeah.
Black pole dancers are really not represented well enough within our community. So for you to, and I know from an early stage, you were already working with Phoenix, weren't you? And Slovenia, isn't it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Slovenia, from what I know, it's not known as the most inclusive of countries. Am I correct in saying that? Because I don't know, like, what is, in terms of like the LGBT community. So as a gay person, there are lots of countries that we know that we can go to and we'll be safe, and that it's very inclusive, and that they have a gay community there. What about Slovenia? Does it have much of that? Because I'd heard that it didn't have much of that, but I might be wrong.
I'm really surprised you're saying that, because here, I mean, we have quite a gay community.
Oh, are
And
there gay bars there? They're like gay bars and clubs.
they are, and there for a long time already. There are like some famous people go also. Not only of course gay people, but everybody goes. They have the best parties there. The best
Ah,
parties. So
yeah, I
there
guess
are,
it
and
was.
there is
I kind of
no.
did like a quick little search because I always love to talk about subjects like this. So I did a quick little search, and I have to say I didn't take enough time. I quickly did it before this podcast, and I couldn't see much. But it's one of those things like when you think of, I'm talking only from my own perspective for the gay community, that we have specific countries that we know are very welcoming to the gay community. So, and obviously Slovenia just wasn't on the list. And that's why I asked you, because many people, I think, assume that a lot of the European countries can be, racist, homophobic, all of these things, not as inclusive, because it's definitely inclusivity, I think, is more of an American thing. That is where it kind of originated from. I'd say that the UK are very inclusive now, whereas some European countries, especially like places like Russia as well. I remember actually, I remember a long while back talking about, we were talking about pronouns and gender, and Russians just, they didn't know what I was even really talking about. I mean, they probably do now, but this was back when it first became a conversation. And yeah, I guess we just have so many different views in different countries. So I was really intrigued to ask you about it in terms of what it's like where you are. And it's just great that, to see a new brand that is so inclusive from the beginning, and you weren't forced into it, from my knowledge. And it was just something that you've always had as a core value. Does that come from your side? Does that come from Yanni's side, or is it a bit of both?
Well, we are both like that. So we don't really. At the beginning, we didn't even think about it. We just, wow, Phoenix, she's amazing, she's great, she's great performance, she's good person, and we never spoke about like she's black skin or she's white. It was never a discussion. It was just like how good the person is. Is that a gay person, or that's black or white or whoever? Only this is what matters. I think for us is this is the most important value. So who you are, because bad people can also be in gay community. Bad
Oh, of
people
course.
can also be
Like me.
in no, but this is what I see. I mean, it's not always from one side, but it's always from both sides. But as long as you are a good person, this is how we pick our our ambassadors. It's not how many followers you have. It's not how many but it's what you do, who you are. It's more important for us.
What
We
would
have some ambassadors who have literally no followers, but we
yeah.
have them because we believe in them, and you would be surprised it how it gets back. Like if you include somebody into your campaign, or you do something, but he's not really, or she's not really famous at that time, but it comes back with a really good energy, and this is
Mm,
something that we do, I would say, organically. We
yeah.
are thinking a lot about it.
And what would you say makes a good ambassador for you? Like if someone was listening to this now and thought, I would love to be a Lupit Pole ambassador, what would you be looking for? Like what would they need to do?
Well, to do it's not to do what you need to do, but what you have done
Right.
for that. So that's important. I think these are the things that we talked about before. It's more what you've done, how person you are. It's not something that in one word, you cannot be a bad person. You must be. You must have similar values as we have as a company, and that's it. We never fear about somebody. How many times our ambassadors come to me, especially because I'm a technical person, and they come to me and say, "Look, Iztok, this is not good, and this you have to change, and this is not really good." And now, and I was like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's do it. Let's do it, because we always listen to them, and that's why we have them. Not
Right.
only just them to listen to us, but we have to listen them back, because they are the real channel from the community back to us. And as if they are honest with their feedbacks and what they do, then they're a Lupit family.
Oh, hey, so sorry to interrupt your episode. I just wanted to come on real quick and tell you about one of our sponsors. Today's sponsor is Zana Poleware. Zana Poleware are a UK-based pole dance department store selling a range of brands from Lunalay to iStyle Sportswear. They also sell Sticky Molly, Girly Grip, and Dry Hands. Oh my god, Dry Hands. Dry hands. Oh my god, I might actually have to go on and buy some for myself. That stuff is so hard to get hold of. So if you need dry hands, now you know where to go and get some from. Oh, and you can also use a 10% discount code courtesy of the Weekly D. The code is WeeklyD10. That's 10% off WeeklyD10. So go and check out Zana Poleware.
Have you, sorry, changing the subject slightly, have you ever had a point with your business and with Lupit where you thought this isn't going to work, or you've had like a point of the business where you were in a bit of a struggle point? Like what was the hardest time that the business went through?
Well, there was a time when we had not really a good. It was 2000, maybe 2016, 17, something like that, and that was really the sales were not good. So we already had some people employed, and we didn't have enough money to pay them for salaries.
Right.
And so we were late with a couple of days with salaries in this time, and we said, okay, rather than closing, like fire people, we need to think about if we continue. And then it was again some good months, and we didn't have problems anymore. And from there was always only a good. Yeah.
What did you do as a business to pull you out of that that position that you were in. So, you were saying that the sales weren't good, but then you managed to get it back up again. So, but you were saying that you don't pay for marketing, do you? You don't.
We started with some advertising.
Oh, okay. So you did do some advertising.
Now, yeah, we do now for about 2 years,
Nice.
I think. But what we did, we talked to all our ambassadors, and they were pushing a little bit, like with their promotions, and and then it started. I think that was just a
bad month.
Couple of bad time of the year or something. It was. I remember it was like March, April, something, and there was nothing really happening.
Yeah.
So,
So it was started with just 2 of you. How many of you are there now?
We are now 36.
36 people. Wow. So, 36 people. I was not expecting you to say that many. I thought you were going to say like 10. So 36 people. This is because you've got the factory as well. So that's the factory workers as well. They're all employed by you. Yeah. And in the factory, do you make anything else apart from poles? Do you do any work for any other companies or anything?
No. That's just for us.
It's all just for you.
Everything for us. Yeah.
That's amazing.
We do, as you know, our products. We do mats, we grip pads. We do. We have our own sewing machines. I mean, everything like that. And the poles. So it's quite a lot of products that we have. It's different. Then you have different finishes, different sizes.
Actually,
some customized.
Because you have crash mats, don't you? You make them all yourself as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So the first product of Lupit that I'd ever had. So again, at this point, I still didn't have an opportunity to try the pole, but I was at a World Pole Sports Championships in London, and you guys had a booth there. And you had on sale these crash mats. And I was like, do you know what, actually? I was like, I'm going to take one of those because they were on sale. I was like, I'll take one. I've still got it to this day, and it's in immaculate condition. It's amazing.
Really?
It's in very good condition. And it was one of the fold up ones. So, and I actually, anyone who's listening, I do recommend them because they are really good crash mats.
Thank you.
What was the biggest barrier to sort of breaking in the industry that you found with the products and stuff? Was there any barriers that you had with sort of breaking through into the pole industry as a new brand? Did you have anything that kind of made it really difficult?
Yeah, well, the biggest barrier is always the price, because people do not look at the quality first. They go for the price. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's what I do with other products as well. So I first check the prices. But it was then we found out that many of products were made in Eastern countries or China and there are cheaper, workers and materials and everything. So there's something that you cannot compete if you're from European Union, mm-hmm. because here everything is much more taxed, and then the labor is you need to pay people fair. So if you pay people fair and not children working for you and stuff like that, so you need to increase the price of the product. So you need to pay for all that.
You didn't want to get your kids working for you?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
This summer for a week. And my son, he was working this summer in the company, very basic works in the production for 3 weeks. And then my daughter, she's only 14. Uh-huh. She is preparing some TikTok videos.
Has she tried pole? Does she like pole dancing?
Yeah, she does.
She does.
She's a dancer, she's a singer, so she can also do pole dancing.
And who does all your social media stuff?
Excuse me?
Who does all of your social media work, like all of your Instagram? And because I have to say, like all of the photography that you guys have, you have some very beautiful, it's very that's what I like actually about the Lupit brand. It's very aesthetically pleasing. It looks very pretty. Who does all that?
Yeah, we have really good marketing people. Yeah, I have to say this point that they are looking after this the brand, and I know Deidra. Did you meet her? She's head of marketing, and she did a lot of stuff. I have to thank her for that,
Possibly.
and also other girls. They're like so dedicated, and they have all this sense of aesthetics.
Yeah.
uh, yeah.
And you,
So I do not control all of this.
right.
I I cannot even follow everything because it's so much,
Hmm.
Uh, but it's interesting when you find, like some of our products in some posts, and then I show to my kids, look, this is Lupit, amazing, like.
Yeah, no, it's cool, and I really like the vibe that they've gone for in your marketing. It's very it's very aesthetically pleasing in terms of the brand. It is all, even just that
Yeah,
I keep looking at the picture behind you, but just like the sort of vibe that you've gone for with your marketing, it's very what is the word I'm trying to think of? It's very clean and just very pretty. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. There's a word that I know.
thank,
There's a word I'm trying to think of, and I just can't get it out. But yeah, it's very gorgeous. I love it. So I've
thank you.
got another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I want to ask you about, when you came into the industry, X-Pole were the main competitor for you. I assume they were the main, really, probably even still now, they have a massive market share of pole, correct? Um, how was that for you? Like, how was it trying to break into an industry with someone who was so big? It must have been so hard to do that, because I see people try. It would basically be like someone trying to, when people started trying to make electric cars after Elon Musk had made Tesla, and like he kind of ruled the market for so long, and only now really brands are starting to push in with other electric cars. Like, how was that experience for you? Like, did you bump into any problems with is there any copyright issues and stuff that come up when it comes to poles? Like, is this anything that you have to take into consideration?
No, no, never. We had never any confrontations or, you know, uh, nothing like that. I have always only respect for Expo because they were, like first on the market. They had
Mm.
some good ideas. They bring the pole to homes, and this is something that I have to say I respect. We see basically in this that they have a big market opportunity, so we can improve products. I'm not saying there, but we can play something that is maybe a little bit more advanced on the market. So we try to do that, and I'm not here to decide who is better,
Yeah.
but
I have
I
to say,
can
I think they're
suggest.
very different. As a customer and
They're
has used
different.
both,
We never copied. We never copied any of them.
right?
I didn't even had Expo in my hand. Uh, like for first 5 years, I never touched the pole. I really started to design the product, like our home pole, say, from experiences that I have as a mechanical engineer,
Hmm.
and it's a common engineering logic what we've done. So, just to gain the safety and good speed, you only need to follow those, mechanical engineering rules and be a little bit creative to put all this into a good design,
Hmm.
and, also something convenient, user friendly for the customers. And that's all,
Right. And
yeah.
the reason I asked as well was because, like I said, I've used both products. So, like I've got all X poles in my studio. I've used Lupit. I actually used Lupit, so that camp that we just were at, and they're both very, very good products. So yeah, for anyone listening to this who's like, oh, Dan doesn't like X pole, I absolutely do love X pole. I've got X poles already, and they're a really nice team. I know you said you've met them, but I've done a lot of work with X-Pole, and they are a really nice team. And I really believe in their product too. I would say they're both completely different. What like, what would you say allowed you to be able to sort of push into the industry when there was already such a big name? I think that's really what I'm trying to get at. Like, what did you do different that made you this popular brand that you are now? What would you say set you apart?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't watch what our competitors do. We didn't do it at the beginning, and we don't really do it now because we have our own way, our own path. So we say, okay, this is our way, and we just need to do something good for the community. We need to do good products, safety, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, and then it step by step you get there.
Yeah. And what's the future plans? Like, where do you see Lupit Pole going in the future? Do you have like a 5-year plan of what you want the business to do, where you want it to go?
Yeah, we have plans, not a 5-year plan. We have maybe 3-year plan, but it's more that me and my partner Yanni, we talk about it a lot every day. We are in the office together, so we can communicate faster, do decisions faster. But the main plan is more to to grow and to get new products on the market. So right now we are planning for some new products, and
Are you allowed to tell us what they are? Can we get?
And we think that everything is pointing to direction that the pole dance is gonna get bigger and bigger every year. So if we just stay here where we are with the market share, we will grow with of course with the market.
Right.
And we are not. Our goals are not to become how to say the biggest, but the best.
Right. Okay. And are you allowed to tell us what products that you've got in the making, or is it top secret?
No, it's not anymore because we already sent some to our ambassadors, and it's a flying pole,
Nice.
which is you saw it. You saw it
at the yeah. So that pole camp, by the way. So you guys, for that pole camp, the summer pole camp in Croatia, you did the whole setup, didn't you? So you guys had the outdoor poles that we had. All of that was all Lupit Pole, wasn't it? Yeah, it was awesome. It was like a playground. It was so fun. We had lollipop poles. We had flying poles. We had what did we have? Just normal outdoor poles, which was so cool as well because we had the beach behind us, so it looked really beautiful. And then we had obviously the normal poles in the studio. Oh, we had a great time. It was so fun. I'm actually going back to that again this year. And I'm super excited to be able to train on them more. We didn't actually have the best weather. It was very on and off with the rain, but I'm hoping this year, fingers crossed, that the weather will be really, really nice. But have you, this is purely for selfish reasons, have you guys ever considered making a pole that can screw into the floor?
Oh yeah, we did.
Have you seen these poles?
We've made some. Yeah, we've made some, and we are also very soon we are going to launch with one of our ambassador, like something that outdoor, which is you will be able not only screw into the ground because you need certain conditions there, so you need not soft ground and earth something, but we're gonna do something that will be able to set up. It's not going to be staged, but really light for carrying, but set up in the jungle, in the desert, or on the beach or somewhere, but very safe.
Nice. Well. Yeah, I mean, because I've seen these poles. I can't remember what the manufacturer was called actually. And I was like, I'm going to go and buy one of those. And then I went and looked and I was like, oh my God, they were so expensive. I think it was like it was like over €1,000. I'm sure it was. I remember it being really, really expensive. And I think the problem was at the time I was like, oh, I really want one. But like, wow, that's so expensive. Because by the time that it gets here as well, and obviously, oh, actually, that's a good question to ask you. Because we've left the EU now. So like, we're not part of Europe. So is it really difficult for you guys to send products to the UK now?
No, I don't think
it's still fine.
It's a big issue.
I think it's more a problem for us.
Excuse me?
It's more of a problem for us. So if you were to send a product to me, I'd have to pay the import tax on it. So it's more expensive for me. And then if I want to, so for example, if I have a business here, which I do, and I want to send it to you, you would have to pay import tax. And it's just like, then it puts people off buying from us. It's a nightmare. We're going through a process at the moment to try and find a way around it. But do you know Pole Junkie? You must have heard of Pole Junkie.
Yeah.
Do you sell poles on Pole Junkie? No.
You don't? I don't think so.
No, I was going to say,
I'm not sure.
I don't even know if they sell poles, actually. I don't think they do sell poles. But yeah, Pole Junkie, they had to open a warehouse in Europe just so they could keep sending stuff. It's been a nightmare. If you voted to leave, if anyone listening to this voted to leave, I hate you so much. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. But yeah, I don't know. Well, it's been great chatting to you. Thank you for coming and doing this with me. I really just wanted to get to know the person behind the brand, really, because I've seen so much about it. And I really hope I can come and visit the factory because I'm really intrigued to see it. It sounds amazing. So, yeah. And if anyone listening to this doesn't know who Lupit Pole are, go and check them out. They're on Instagram. You can go and look at their website. They've got loads of cool products on there. So, yeah, thank you so much, Iztok, for coming on and chatting to me. I really appreciate it. I know it must have been super random when you got the message come through, but I just really wanted to find out more about the brand and who is behind it. And I'm so pleased to find out that it's such a nice guy behind this cool brand. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nice talking to you as well. And I just wanted to say hello to, everybody who's listening and watching this and all the pole community.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm sure everyone is saying hello back, and go and check out Lupit Pole, everyone. Thank you so much, Iztok. Hey, thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the other episodes. See you there.
That was all the tea that you can get this week. Join me next time right here. It's the Weekly Tea.